$7 million for reef fish management, $25 billion to combat Asian carp, $2.5 billion to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same.
It's a pre-tape, and I'm just gonna upload it. I don't, not gonna do all the fancy shit. Whatever, who cares? That's too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you have a producer. I don't. So I have an ideas. Editor. That's too much. I'm my own editor, so I try to make everything as minimalistic as possible. So there's no intro. There's no, Maybe I'll make this like an episode. This will be just an episode. All right. This is episode 1627. Just why not? All right, so we got the Humanist report. This is the official start. I started recording.
How's it going?
Yeah, so you've never been on my show before for some reason.
No.
Well now you have been. So introduce yourself. I don't know if anyone in my audience knows or doesn't know who you are, but just in case, you never know. There could be a societal collapse, and this is the only video record of your existence ever. So just in case, and that might be coming pretty soon. So
it's possible. So my name is Mike Figueredo. I'm the host of the Humanist Report here on YouTube, and I talk about politics. I'm a political commentator like Andrea, and I basically am an internet complainer, professional internet complainer, and that's what I do for a living. So happy to finally talk to you. We've talked for a while on Twitter, but this is the first video interaction. So
sure,
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have you here. I don't do guests on my show often because once again I'm lazy. And usually,
it's a lot of work.
Getting guests. I've had so many experiences where I have guests on, last minute they forget. Or whatever, and then it's just so every once in a while, I've been trying to do one a month. That's kind of my quota that I'm trying to do right now. So you're my month of July guest, so there you go. That's unofficial. I mean, I could do another guest tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, anything's possible. So I'm just curious, what's your vibe been lately? Because I've been on the doomer train for a little bit. People love to tell me I'm a doomer, and I speedrun Doom, the video game, so that's true in more ways than one. But I am a doomer. I've been known to be a doomer for many years, but now I am at this point. I feel like I'm in the I don't give a fuck doomer phase, where I've just been saying everything that I've been afraid to say before, most notably about religion. I'm pretty pissed off about religion, and that's kind of why I reached out to you, because I've been watching your videos, and just since Roe v. Wade, you've been putting out a lot of bangers on the Christian fascists. So I thought this could be a fun central topic, but then we can go into something else. It's whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm of the same mind. Very, very doomer. I kind of go through phases where I'm doomer, and then I'm super black-pilled doomer. Right now I'm kind of in the regular doomer phase, where I just try to distract myself, and I acknowledge everything's coming to an end, the world's going to end, the country's falling apart. Fascism is coming. And so with that in mind, I try to do a hard check out of politics. So like as soon as I'm done with my work for the week, I try to take weekends off. Not always, but I'll just like check out mentally, play Stardew Valley, play video games, not look at the news until Monday. And that's kind of been helping me. So I'm in the cope phase of my doomerism. But yeah, also I go through these phases where I'll be very just angry. And I don't know if my show gets better or worse, but yeah, I've been really frustrated with like the rise of Christo-fascism in the United States. And it's not like to say rise, it seems like it's inaccurate because it's always been here. It's just that now that they're winning with Roe and whatnot, they're so emboldened and they're so loud. So I feel inclined to rage against them because like all throughout my life, these folks have had a very direct, concrete impact on my human development, on my environment. And, now that I've kind of escaped that and I've left like my own evangelical cult, they're still trying to find a way to control me. So that pisses me off because like, I don't know about you, but like, I'm very pro-freedom. Like most of us leftists, contrary to popular belief, we are pro-freedom. We don't like say the word freedom like, conservatives do and wear, flag shorts and like suits and whatnot. But like we actually do believe in freedom. And so the fact that they want to like take away our freedom pisses me off. And I'm so done. And, I kind of retreated from my neckbeard atheism phase that I went through like in my early 20s.
I also had a neckbeard phase, minus the neckbeard. I could never, even before hormones, I could never grow a beard. But I tried. Did
you have a fedora though?
God, I did not. But that was. But anyway, yeah,
I did not. Yeah, no. I retreated because I felt like the atheism that I was associated with got a little bit too reactionary for my liking. It became more like anti-feminist, like you all, the
I'm very
know.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a horrible phase. So then it's like, okay, I'm gonna check out a little bit. And also, I felt like the atheism community got maybe too cringe, where you'd see like these Facebook posts. I don't know if they were real, but it could have been real. Where there was like an old lady, and she's like, "Oh, my husband went to be with the Lord Jesus," and then her grandson would reply, "LOL, Grandma, you dumb fuck. Jesus isn't real." And it's like, okay, maybe we've gone a little bit too far, right?
No, I support this guy. I'm like, fuck you, Grandma, you fucking idiot. Yeah, no, I feel the same way though about the like when I like first started like really, because I feel like I've always been an atheist, but like that was my default position. But like everyone in my family, they weren't like in your face about God, but whenever I would ask a question, right, they would give me that like, oh well, no shit, God's real. Like, I mean, hello, why are you even asking this? Can we like talk about like what we're having for dinner, right? They would always try to rush the conversation away. Right. And so like I had this phase in my like teenagehood where I tried to be a Christian. Like I tried the praying, didn't work. I thought I was doing it wrong. And then, I never clicked with me, like so. But then like I discovered like, I started reading, and I started reading like Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, and I got Christopher Hitchens, which in my opinion, I think Hitchens is the best of that, the Four Horsemen or whatever they want to call themselves. I think Hitchens was the best. But then, like, the way I see it is, like, atheism, like, doesn't necessarily mean, like, you don't have faith, right? Like, because faith is, like, a core, like, the way I've been putting this on my show recently is the core ideology of faith is, like, believing in things that are against all the facts, right? Like, like, if it's like you can have faith that, like, something like a friend will survive cancer, your faith doesn't mean anything. Like it's a good, like faith can be good in some areas, you want to be in that good mindset, but like just the ability for people to believe in things that have not even like there's an absence of evidence, but like all the evidence that exists is in the opposite direction, right? A lot of atheists I feel like have like that faith-based thinking, right? They never got over the faith-based thinking. Like they're great, you crack the code, God's not real, you want a cookie, but like they still like they still believe in like these weird kind of like the Sam Harris thing where it's like the free speech and is the pinnacle of everything, even though like, first of all, we never lived in a society with actual free speech, and like the free speech, whenever you talk about it, it's defending those in power. And like, like of course Sam Harris's torture bullshit, which is that was like the big red flag for me when I read his like what he had to say about torture, and I was like, what? You know, and so, yeah, and like there was this like big pushback against atheism that I found, and I absolutely retreated from that too. Like, you know, I always, like, my thing is I always had no problem making fun of religious people, like when the time would present itself. I love making fun of people. I love satire. I think it's hilarious. And it doesn't always go well. But, you know, I love making fun of Christians. I just think it's great. I love doing the yeehaw voice. I have a lot of religious motherfuckers in my family. And, like, you know, they know I hate God. And, you know, some of them, they hate me too. And that's fine. But I feel like since this Roe v. Wade, like, discourse started with the draft leak or whatever, I'm at the point where everything I've wanted to say, I'm just saying it and I'm forcing it into everything. Like, I hate religion. I am an anti-theist. I think anti-theism is like the only morally correct position, in the same way that I think anti-fascism is the only correct position, right? Like, I just we need to fight back. If someone's like a Christian and, like, because they believe in Jesus's, like, I hate rich people thing, I'm fine with that, you know? But when you start believing in Adam and Eve and the fucking magical sky fairies, I mean, I think does it hurt me per se necessarily? No. And are you free to do that? Yeah. But in the same way that I want to convince people that, like, Medicare for all is the obvious answer, I want to convince people, like, yeah, there is no Adam and Eve. They made them up, you know? Like, that's my kind of mindset. So, like, you know, how do you feel about, like, the anti-theism angle?
Oh, that's exactly where I'm at. I am a very staunch anti-theist, and I love the Christians who don't let a bigotry take over. Like, part of it is I think that, like, if you are a bad person, you're going to use your religion to be a bigot and a bad person, and if you're a good person, you're going to use your religion for the same purpose. But at the same time, I still believe that as atheists, we should proselytize. And I'm reaching the point where I feel like I almost have a responsibility to spread the good word of atheism. Because even to the Christians who are good Christians, I mean, I think that religion is inherently abusive. And to explain what I mean by that, like, I grew up in the church, and it controlled every element of my life. And because I was so, like, deep in that religious cult, I believe that, like, this life had no value because it didn't matter, because we're going to go to heaven one day. So this is just temporary. Like, this body is a vessel. And so it led to me, like, being okay with hating who I was. Like, growing up gay, it's like, oh God, I hate myself, but that's okay. This is just a temporary shell. And then finally, like, once I left the religion and became an atheist, this whole life had, like, new meaning and new value, because then it changed things for me, because, oh wait, this is the only life that we have? Like, that's it? Like, 80, 90 years, 100 if you're really lucky?
Oh, I'm living to 200. I've said this before. I'm going to be the one to do it.
Well, I mean, they say that the first person, I don't know who says this, but I've heard that the first person alive today who's going to live to be 1,000 is already alive.
And that's me.
So, well, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to live beyond 100, though, personally.
Oh,
but
I do.
I don't know. It sounds miserable. I don't want to see what world, what happens to the world. But no, you just get a new sense of, like, meaning to this life, and then it kind of changes your political views as well, to where, okay, I really want to help people in this world. I want to fix this world, because if this is the only existence that we're ever going to have, we're just like a blip in the time scale of the entire universe, then there shouldn't be a single person who can't find water or food. I don't give a fuck what country you're in. Like, we're all just human beings. You know, we're on a rock floating through space. So it changes everything. And I think that people need to have that perspective. And again, like, I'm not going to berate Christians, but I'm not going to respect their religion as well. So I'm not going to... and look, the whole thing, like, you did a really great video that I watched the other day that really resonated with me. You talked about a segment. I can't remember. It was on the Majority Report. I didn't watch that segment, so I couldn't speak to, like, what they said, but you said something to the effect of, like, even the good Christians are bad people. And that really resonated with me, because it's so true. Like, any queer person you could talk to, they know about the Christians who are really accepting, and they're like, well, you know, I don't hate the sinner, I just hate the sin. And it's like,
yeah, they always, like, every once in a while you think, oh, okay, they're a good Christian, and then, like, it might take a couple weeks or months, but they'll throw something fucking freaky at you, and it's like, yo, what? Like, it comes out of nowhere. Like, as soon as you drop your guard, they just fuck you with that fucking shit. Oh.
Yeah, and the thing that frustrates me is any progress you make is temporary. I've learned that with Christian people, because on one hand, like, to get really religious family members to accept like me and accept my husband, they had to rationalize that it was God making me gay so I could bring my husband to Jesus, because I'll find God again one day, and then he'll come to God through me. But then, there'll be a retreat. Well, they'll start to like date someone new, and that person isn't evangelical, and then it's like, actually, I don't accept you at all. You need to turn away right now. So even like, if you make progress, it's all just temporary. And so that's why I think the only way to truly progress as a society is to move away from religion. Now, there was this criticism of atheists before that, oh, well, you only focused on Christians and not Muslims. But here's the thing, like, in America, Muslims do not dictate policy. Christians do.
That's correct.
And I have Muslim friends, and I didn't even know. I thought they were atheists, but they don't talk about it. Christians they're very zealot.
They just don't shut the fuck up. That's their problem. Those people,
They want to shove it down your throats. And so, like, to me, like, my view on religion is I'm an anti-theist, but you still have to protect religious minorities. Like, and if you flip it, like in Egypt, Christians are a persecuted minority, and they can't really be as open as they are in the United States. So, I just want people to be able to live and be free. And for me, like, encouraging people, not by force, but by influence, to drop their religion, that's a part of freedom. It expands freedom of the mind, and I'm of the belief that I feel a responsibility to do that, even if it's a little bit of a you're walking on landmines, because I don't want people to think that, like, oh, you can't be a good leftist if you're a Christian, or you're inferior to me if you believe. I just disagree.
I want people to think that.
It's just I want people to be free, but I want them to be the freest that they can be. And I think that if you drop religion, that's really how you achieve not like the perfect essence of your true self, because that's impossible, but a better version, the best version of yourself. But that's my experience. Like, a lot of that is influenced by me leaving Christianity. Like, I was brainwashed at a very young age. The videos of me getting baptized.
They always talk about groomers, right? But like, these people like will literally like they will get like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds reading Bible verses. It's crazy. I mean,
it's horrifying. Yeah, I was gonna say the videos of me like getting baptized with my like frosted blonde tips are so cringeworthy. But like, you could see at such a young age, I was indoctrinated into it. And it's not just that, like, your parents take you to church and you're forced to go and you don't want to go. Like, it actually corrupts your mind too, because every little thing that I had as a kid, there was guilt associated with it. Like, I had to get rid of all of my Pokemon cards. I couldn't have like Mario because there were ghosts in that, and that you don't become a ghost when you die, you go to heaven. So like, every little thing I couldn't have. But even like, in spite or despite the brainworms, I still like was predisposed to be very skeptical of things. Like, I remember having conversations with my pastor about like the Garden of Eden, and I'm like, so was there dinosaurs in the Garden of Eden? Because I learned in school that the Earth is millions and millions and millions of years old, and dinosaurs existed millions of years ago. And then, the pastor would tell me this bullshit answer. Well, if you read the book of Job, it talks about the tails of beasts being as big as palm trees. And I actually read it like 3 times. I'm like, this shit isn't in here. And then I have conversation. They completely make it up. And then I'd have conversations with my pastor, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I understand that God created everything. I believe you. But who created God? Like, where did that come from? And who created the God that created God? And my pastor laughed at me, saying, I think you just need to have faith. But it's like,
that's
even
always
when you're
what it
in
is. It's faith. You just have to have faith. In what? In this God? I'd rather have faith in my dog, like, living until they're fucking 30 than this God who I can't see any evidence for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you're a curious person, then religion doesn't have the answers, because it's just accept what is in front of you. Not even like what's in front of you, like tangibly, but like it's accept what we tell you, essentially. Which to me was not great, because like growing up, I was always very interested in like science and dinosaurs. I mean, what kid isn't? But like the scientific, like what killed them, like I was interested in these things and, astronomy and whatnot. So it wasn't satisfactory to just be like, oh, well, have faith. You're not going to know the answer to who created God and who created the God that created the God. And that wasn't acceptable for me. And it's not to say that, like, if you, choose to be atheist, you're going to have all the answers. Of course not. But
I mean, that's kind of the point, though, right? Like, when you become an atheist, you know that you won't have all the answers. And that, like, that's kind of the point, is like religion tries to answer unanswerable questions, and it just creates this weird paradox. Whereas, like, when you're an atheist, it's like, yeah, who knows? Are we in a simulation? Maybe. I don't know. But it's cool to think about. And then, you're done thinking about it, and that's it. You move on to do something else. It's not like it's in the back of your head all the time, and then, like, God is like, all right, now bully this person, or, like, that's the thing. It's like, if people were just, like, believing in this stuff, or, like, just, like, thought about it, if you read the Bible and you think it's a cool book, and it's like, that's fine. I mean, but, like, the other thing about the God thing for me is, you mentioned the Pokemon cards, and this is this traumatized me when I was young. Is my mom, I was raised by a single mother, so, like, babysitting was always, like, I would hop from babysitter to babysitter. That was always a big thing. And in the summertime, that was, like, that was a big deal. So eventually, my mom made a friend who happened to be this, like, religious person. And, I didn't, my mom was, like, religious, but didn't go to church, right? But, like, she did not like when I questioned God, so I learned not to do that around her and stuff, right? But anyway, so she makes this friend who has this great idea to send me to a Christian summer camp. And I'm like 12. And so I remember, like, I didn't know it was a Christian summer camp. Like, it wasn't described to me as a Christian summer camp. I thought, oh, I'm going to a summer camp. And that's going to be fun. I'm going to, like, play soccer and, like, drink lemonade and, like, whatever. And so, like, I go there the first day. Is like I think it's like 7 a.m. as I get there. And, like, it's all everything I thought of. Like, we're playing games, right? And then, like, noon, like, the clock strikes noon, and there's, like, it's like Resident Evil 4 with the fucking first cutscene, right? That starts ringing, and I'm like, oh shit. And then everyone is like, all right, it's time to go inside. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, okay, I mean, it's getting kind of hot outside. I guess there's an air conditioner. And then, like, okay, so we get in here, we're in this big, like, it's not like an auditorium, right? Because there's no stage per se, but it's like a big flat room, right, with a big, like, projector up front, and there's, like, a bunch of chairs, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, are we gonna watch a movie? Like, I'm just, like, I thought that I was here to have fun. And then, like, some guy comes up and starts, like, talking about Jesus and God, and I'm like, it hits me at a left field. This is what, I think I was, like, 11. I went there 2 summers in a row, right? So after the second summer, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a latchkey kid now. I convinced my mom, but the first summer, and then so, like, this guy is, like, starting to talk about Jesus and God. I'm not really following, because I've been exposed to religion, but I never really paid attention to it, right? So, and then, like, they use the projector and they start playing these songs. They're like sing-along karaoke Jesus bullshit. And one of these songs, I don't know if you're familiar, one of these songs has a lyric where it lists everything that Jesus is better than, right? So the lyric is like, better than Pokemon, better than Superman, better than Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, whoa, Jesus is not better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay? I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Every day, and that was like the moment where I became an atheist. Is like, Jesus is not better than Yu-Gi-Oh! That is not true. I'm being lied to. Anyway, so we're supposed to sing along to these songs. And then, like, after the fact, right, like, we go into, like, these little group sessions in, like, a random room. It's like a classroom or something, you go in there with, like, 5 or 6 people, and then you talk about what you learned. And then so, the group leader, who's, like, I guess, like, they're, like, a high schooler, I don't know, and that's, like, their summer job, I guess, I don't know. But they ask me, like, all right, what did you learn today? And I'm like, fuck, I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. And I'm like, the devil is the bad guy and we shouldn't be like him. And then everyone looks at me and I just felt like this, like, extreme, like, shadow over me. Like, everyone's like, that's not funny. And I'm like, yeah, like, they're freaking out. I'm like, oh God, like, am I going to get killed? Like, I don't know. And so it was like that to me, like that experience is what cemented me. Like these people, like they just throw it at you. It's random. You never know when it happens. Like I'm thinking I'm at a normal summer camp, and then I get like brought into this classroom somewhere, and people are like being mean to me because I didn't understand the lesson. And Jesus is not better than Yu-Gi-Oh! I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards in my bag right now because I thought people would like Yu-Gi-Oh! here. And I don't know.
God.
I just wanted to tell that story, but
That's hilarious. Okay, that actually lines up with my experience because, like, even when we'd go to Sunday school, like, I think that by the time I was like 12 or 13, so we went to a youth group, and the kids there were freaks. And look, I was a very awkward, weird little kid. So if I thought that other people were freaks, it wasn't because I stood out. It's because they were probably more like weird than, like, we're talking like Children of the Corn shit. So, like, I never wanted to go to these, youth groups. And I was homeschooled for a portion of my childhood. So my mom wanted me to, like, she was trying to encourage me to make friends. But it's like, these people, like, they're weird. Like, they're so fucking weird. And I remember, like, even, like, being indoctrinated. Me and my friend, like, from, like, that lived around the block from me and her went there. And we were just making fun of all the other kids the whole time. Because they were, like, you can't have conversations with them. Like, it's bizarre. Like, you'd think that when you break up into groups and you start talking, that's when you could just be yourself and be kids. But they, like, were glued to the shit. They were like, yeah, so, Jesus, he did this for me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
the adults
even,
aren't
like,
in the room. Shut the fuck up. Let's talk about, like, fucking cartoons.
You can have fun now. You don't have to, like, you could be yourself. And this is me brainwashed thinking, okay, like, I just want to, like, can we be human beings for a second and, like, talk to people? But even, like, being in that cult, it was still weird to me because it's like, okay, something's off. And, like, it was a subconscious feeling, right? Like, I didn't think, wow, these kids are fucking weird. But looking back, just remembering that, it's like, wow, like, they really are, like, they drank the Kool-Aid. They're gone.
In deep. Like, they have drowned in the deep end, and they're having, like, that, like near-death, like, hallucination or something, right? Like, they're just, like, living in their own universe. Like, it's insane.
Sad almost.
It's crazy.
Sad.
I mean, it's like, and it's also like it robs people of their childhoods and it robs them of their adulthoods. My thing with, like, the God people is, like, I genuinely, and a lot of people get mad at me. I've had a lot of people yell at me for this, but I think that if you, like, are like I'm not talking about, like, oh, Jesus is okay and you don't go to church, but I'm like, the people that are really into this shit, like, they're zombies. Like, I can't, like, I just can't wrap my mind around the idea that they are, like, a human being in the same way than I am, right? Like, and I just, like, maybe that's a little fucked up and maybe I should find a better way to communicate that, but, like, man, these people are fucking freaks. They really are. Like I can't imagine being 60 years old and, like, praying to God every day and then, like, nothing happens, right? Like I just, like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I remember praying to God as a teenager a couple times, and it's like, I regret that. Like, what a waste of fucking time. I could have been masturbating or something, right? But instead I was praying to fucking God. But these people do it, and then, like, the Muslims do it, like, 5 times a day. I mean, Jesus Christ. But, like, I just can't. Like, it's, and for no reason. Like, if you were to, like, instead of praying, if you were to do, like, meditation or something, like, that would do so much more, like, value for your system and your health. And it's just like, oh my God, man, it's insane. It's insane.
What you're describing is the Christian trance, and this is something that I've seen for a very long time. So, like, there's periods where really evangelical people, they'll go through their phases where they aren't as vocal. They never stop believing, but they just kind of, like, maybe they retreat a little bit. They stop going to church on Wednesdays, just once a week. But then there's these periods where they get really back into it. And these periods were always really insufferable, like with my family members. Because, like, even, like, though everyone was in agreement that God is amazing, Jesus is the tits, we love Jesus, like, it's still annoying to see that person who's in that, like, Christian brain rot trance mode. Because every single sentence, they shoehorn in Jesus. And I don't even know how to, like, come up with an example because it's so unnatural. But it's just like, yeah, we're going to go to the store, so praise God.
Sneeze, right? Like,
right.
It's that simple.
Yeah, and then they also get very judgmental in this phase too, where it's like, well, I wouldn't do that because that's not what the Lord wants. But yeah, anyways, the weather's so good. Praise God. It's just, and it's so insufferable because at that point, you literally cannot have they're incapable of having a human conversation with you. It's just Jesus, 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 Jesus. And eventually, any human being is going to get sick of that shit. And so they'll retreat a little bit and come back to earth. But it's just, it's too much. And one thing that is nefarious about religion is that it is especially predatory for people with mental health issues. Like people in my family who had issues with mental health, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar, if they were having a manic episode, then the religion would kind of compound and make it worse. And it would
absolutely.
Be like,
It's like it's really like a drug. Like they're drug addicts, and like they will go through periods where they're just going on benders, right? But instead of like cocaine, it's Jesus, right? So it's like imagine I like drugs. I experiment with drugs many times, right? So sometimes I'm going on a bender. I'm drinking alcohol every day, and then sometimes I'm like, fuck it, let's add some weed to this every day, and it exacerbates, right? I have a little fun. But like these Jesus people, like imagine adding Jesus to a manic episode, like Jesus Christ, like they just like everything's God this, God that. They won't shut the fuck up. They're cleaning the whole house and they're praising Jesus, and my mom had a couple bouts of that. She was not like that religious at all. Like I think she I don't know if she ever took me to church, but like every once in a while she would have like these like sessions where she would cry, and I'd ask her like why she's crying. And then she's like, I don't know, like I feel like I've betrayed God. And it's like every once in a while you like get a window into there. You look through the window and it's like, what the hell is going on in this bitch's brain? Like Jesus Christ. But like, yeah, like it's just weird. It comes up at random times. Like it's just like, you can be a normal, and that's the thing with like we were talking about earlier, where it's like being a queer person, right? Is like, you meet a new friend, and like they're cool, they're fine for a couple months, and then all of a sudden they say something bizarre. It comes out of nowhere. Like, and it's like they're just in the middle of a Jesus bender. Like they're just like, they're on 4 days in a row, and they, they're having some problems. And it's just weird. It's strange. And that's, like you were saying, that's all temporary, right? Like, because at any point they can go to a new church and a new pastor tells them a new point of view, and now they're just sunken deeper, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's scary. Because I feel bad because even if Christians are dictating law, evangelicals and whatnot. I mean, we're talking about the powerful people, but like just on an individual level, I feel bad for them because I know, like I was in that spot before, and I know how miserable they are. But you convince yourself, no, this is me being happy. I love this. When you're miserable, like you're rotting on the inside, but you do it because you feel like, well, what if you're here today and tomorrow you die? Then, you want to make sure you get into heaven. So you want to rack up as much points as possible so you achieve the highest level so you get a good kingdom in heaven.
Yeah, it's like some good place shit, like,
exactly.
I bought the person behind me in line a coffee, so that puts me over the threshold. We're in. And then I told them, praise the Lord. So we're in. All right, great.
Exactly. But then the reason why they're in your face is because they, you really get points when you convert someone.
Exactly,
and bring them
yeah.
in. So that's
like
what
I've had people that are like, they're the way that I've had so many people try to like get me to convert, and I always love like treating it like it's like something like Fallout dialogue, like I'll just like, like I had this one guy tell me, like some random walking through town, and someone was like, have you heard of Jesus? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I've never heard of this guy. Can you tell? Like, but then they were like, I don't know if they didn't laugh at or anything. So they're like, oh shit, this person's never heard of Jesus. Let's go. And I just like play out the whole dialogue tree. It's fun. It's just like, but then this guy is telling me that it's like, no matter what you've done, like they're like, like even if you're a drug addict, and then I'd be like, well, I'm on drugs right now. I just took some before I left the house. And then they, like they would be like, it's okay. You can still get into God. All you got to do is like, repent and he will absolve you of your sins. And then I'm like, well, if that's the case, can I do it later? Like, cause I'm having fun right now. Can I do that later? And like, just like, I love it. I love playing it sincerely. Like I'm genuinely like, I've never heard of Jesus. Like this is news to me, right? Like I just love the idea of people walking up to someone and then asking them if they've heard of Jesus. Because like, if you like, can you like, what is the population on this planet who's not heard of Jesus? Probably 0%, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I strive for a world where, like, I'm talking to, like, a 6-year-old, and then they're like, and I say Jesus Christ, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get them, I want to grab them, put them somewhere, take them away from society. They are a precious... But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I saw this poll a month or two ago that said 81% of Americans believe in God. And I'm like, Jesus, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. The one cause for hopium is that, like, younger generations are much less religious. The problem, though, is everything is temporary, right? I used to think that, this country is going to continue to go in a more progressive direction because younger generations are more leftists. And so, that's just the natural order of things. But, things can change. Trump can come in and win over young kids with the dank memes. And you can convert a lot of young people into, really reactionary politics. So I think the same is true with religion. You can convert a lot of young people who were atheists into, or maybe not even atheists, just kind of like ambivalent towards religion. Like if they have a bad, thing happen to them, they lose a loved one, or they fall victim to like addiction of some sort. You can introduce God in their life. And if, they learn about God as they rebuild their life, then they kind of associate that with, oh, it was God because I found God when I was rebuilding my life. Therefore, correlation equals causation. So, I'm hopeful that younger generations will be less religious, but at the same time, it's a cautious optimism because nothing is a foregone conclusion in the United States, as we've learned lately, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of this boils down to, like, most people are, like, I mean, the default in this society, right, our education system, the food we eat, our leaders, our media, our television, our entertainment, it all is, like, almost all of it is, like, made to make you stupid or to keep you stupid, right? And so, like, the result of that is just most people are just fucking dumb motherfuckers. Like, a lot of people get really upset when you blame the electorate for elections, but I mean, like, you're telling me millions, like 70-something million people voted for the orange guy? Like, what the fuck? Right? Like, like, they're just some dumb motherfuckers. They're just dumb. Like, I don't, like, and, like, I know it's not nice. I know I'm not gonna, like, win anyone over if I go into their face and say, you're a fucking idiot. But, like, also, like, I treat my show like this is my blog. Like, I'm not a politician. I'm not trying to get elected. I'm not, like, trying to move the needle. Like, no one knows who I am. I'm just existing on my small, like, area. I'm going to say what the fuck I mean. And there are some dumb motherfuckers in this country. Like, Hillary Clinton beating Bernie Sanders in the primary. Dumb motherfuckers. That was, like, the first time. That was my first election was 2016. And I was, like, all in on Bernie, and I was thinking, like, no shit, Bernie's gonna win. Like, like, he's talking about healthcare. Like, like, no shit, he's gonna win. And then people vote for Hillary Clinton, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they're just dumb motherfuckers, right? They're just all stupid fucking shit for brains. They got, like, I don't know, like, like, and then I lead into, like, the personal responsibility angle a little bit. A lot of people accuse me of being bootstrappy. But I mean, like, I think that you do have a personal responsibility to educate yourself about the society that you live in. I do. I think that if you don't know, if someone tells me, I don't pay attention to politics, I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know, have you, like, been outside recently? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I think people, like, we live in this weird anti-intellectual, like, if you ask random people on the side of the street, when's the last time you read a book? Like, most people, probably, like, 30... like 3 out of 4 people maybe would say, oh, I haven't read a book since high school, right? Like every adult in my life, when I was a kid, like if they saw me reading books, they would say, like, read as many as you can now, because when you get older, you won't read anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, you're telling on yourself. Second of all, what? Like, and it's like, we live in this world where people just, like, they don't pay attention at all in school. What little they do pay attention to is brainwashing them. And then they just never update their knowledge base at all. And that's like the transgender, like, debate thing. It's not a debate. Trans people have always existed. You just haven't looked at the history. Like, the science doesn't change. It's just our understanding of the science changes. You haven't read a book since, like, the fucking 1930s. Presumably the ones that the Nazis published after they burned all the other fucking books on transgender science, right? So it's like, these people, like, we just live in a country where people don't like to learn. Like, they just, like, learning is icky, it's gross. And like,
Yeah.
I think they're stupid. Like, and I don't, maybe it's not, I'm not going to win an election calling, if I ever run for office, I'm going to run on my slogan, not me, us is the Bernie slogan, right? My slogan is, I hate America and I hate Americans. That's going to be my slogan because I do. I think that most of these people are just not worth anything at all. I mean, and that's fine. You can not be worth anything, but when you, like, that's my thing, is like the freedom angle, right? Like, when these people start forcing us to live like them, that's my fucking problem. You can be stupid in your own little bubble, feel free, that's fine. Like, but we don't, like, one, I don't think we're at that point in society where you can be stupid and it doesn't affect anyone. But then, like, the dumb motherfuckers are the ones that really want everyone else to be like them, and it's insufferable. I can't.
Yeah, like, I feel you. Like, I go back and forth. Like, on one hand, I do absolutely feel that sentiment, and I feel like I kind of vocalize that, or at least it bleeds through in my videos where I'm like, okay, these people are fucking stupid. I mean, I get it. Like, education, it's difficult to come by in the United States. The media system has failed us all. I understand the need to want to check out of politics because, nothing really seems to ever change regardless of who you vote for, so why even participate? But at the same time, it's like, I do feel bad, and I feel like, okay, at some point, I felt like I was stupid too, so I don't want to write people off because I was there. Yeah, exactly. So if you can, like, activate people, bring them out of the default, then that's ideal. But at the same time, I don't disregard the individual responsibility argument, and I don't think that you have to be bootstrappy to, adopt that. I think that there is a level of individual responsibility, especially in times like this where things are so bad. Like, if things continue to get bad and you keep voting for the same politicians, you keep not even participating in politics or trying to find out what's happening, then I feel like that's kind of a dumb thing. Like, if you see the world burning around us, literally with climate change, you kind of are stupid if you don't participate in some way, shape, or form, even if it's a simple act of, like, sharing a Facebook, informational post or whatever. Like, just, there is some level of personal responsibility that I think that leftists have to acknowledge, because it's true. Like, we're all adults. We can acknowledge that our actions have consequences.
I'm
and
tired
on a macro
of, like,
scale,
people telling us that, like, we need to treat everyone like babies. Like, it's like,
Right.
I am 26 years old. If I have to talk to people that are twice my age, like someone like they're half my age, that's a problem. And I don't feel like, and like, if I'm doing canvassing on a campaign, I'm not gonna like, oh, do you believe in God, you fucking idiot, at the front door, like, with wearing my Bernie shirt, right? Like, there's a time and place, there's a context. I think that YouTube videos, I think that YouTube videos for me is just like, I say what I think, right? And I think that it's important, that people, like, I also want to do, like, educational stuff. Like, I have a cooking show, which I don't know if you've watched, but you should. Because
I didn't know you had a cooking show. Is it on the same channel?
It's on the same channel, Cooking with the Bitch.
I haven't seen it.
Season 3 is
Cooking
coming
with the
next
Bitch.
week. Yeah. Because on my
Interesting,
show,
okay.
I talk about eating choices, right? Because our diets are fucked up, our food is poisoned, 95% of Americans don't eat vegetables. And so it's like, and that's a study that was done. Like, the fiber is the main nutrient in vegetables. 95% of Americans are fiber malnourished. They don't have enough in their system.
Jesus.
95%. So I'm thinking, I can go on my show and say that these people are fucking morons, but also I want to have a way for them to educate themselves. So I'm trying to do, like, I have a cooking show that I've been working on for couple years where it's just like, yeah, you can be vegetarian. I'm trying to get into the veganism stuff, right? And you can do it while poor, because I'm poor, motherfucker, right? You can do it, like, without, like, people, like, there's all these myths and conspiracies about, like, oh, if you're vegan, you're gonna fucking get cut and die because you have anemia or something. It's like, motherfucker, you have no idea what you're talking about. And then, like, so I try to yes, I have the ranting and raving, but I also think it's good to have, like, resources, educational resources available. Someone comes in and they go, like, oh, you're confusing me. I can, like, point them in a direction. And I wanted, like, I think people should do that with more stuff. But then also, there's the risk of, like, someone looking at something and there's, like, 80 videos and it's like, where the fuck do you even start? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the other problem with, like, YouTube is, like, you find a new person on YouTube and, like, they got, like, 7,000 videos. It's like, well, if I want to watch all their videos, how do I even start? I'm not going to get through 7,000. No one has that kind of time. And then second of all, like, what if I only want to watch the good ones, right? Like, how do I know which of the, right? So, like, I think curation, there's a big problem with that. But, yeah, I think that, I don't know, man. Like, I think that, yes, it's okay to call people stupid and to say that they need to have that personal responsibility, but you need to have the resources available. And I don't think enough people do that, the resource thing. Like I don't know, politics is great, but for me, like, my opinion recently is that, like, if I can convince someone to stop eating meat, like, that will be the most impactful decision I've ever made compared to anything ever political I've ever said, right? Because, like, when you live in a society where our bodies are just, like, they're not working properly, like, I think that explains a lot of stupid shit that we see, is when 95% of Americans are malnourished, that's a problem, right? They're gonna, like, the brain fog, right? Like, I don't know what your relationship with food is. I've been obese before. I had a bad food addiction. And when I lost like 100 pounds at one point.
Wow.
And yeah, when I did, like, it was crazy to me that like not only like the physical thing, like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to have less back pain. I'm going to have less like foot pain. My shoulders are going to be like, but then like the mental, like, you're just, it's like you spent your whole life sleepwalking. And like, I think most people don't realize that. And like, I think that food and personal responsibility on like food and like education and how you go about in society, I think that is the most impactful thing you can do. And that's why, like, I have that same thing with religion, because it's like, you, like, I got it. Like, every one of my friends, like, I've got a lot of friends that are, like, religious, and, you know, I will be honest, they are not my best friends, right? Like, you know, I'm friendly with them, we'll talk when I'm in town or whatever, and it's great, but, like, there's always going to be that barrier. Like, I can't talk to them about, like, quantum physics, because they're going to bring Jesus up all the time, and it's like, you know, like, so it's like, you know, I just feel like that's another thing. If you can get people to, like, kill the God in their heads, because that's where it is. God is made up. Someone made it up and they lied to you, and it's like an imperialist military base that's implanted on your brain, and they're not going anywhere. Like, you gotta drop the nuke, bomb that motherfucker, get rid of that God, and then we can like start the healing process, you know? And I hate God so much. I really do.
That's such an interesting way to conceptualize it, like killing the God in your head. And I love the idea of like doing something really constructive. Like, you have the cooking show, and that's kind of how, is that, like, I'm guessing that's how you like pitch vegetarianism or veganism, like, where you show like recipes. The
whole show is
that's actually really creative.
Yeah, I've done 20 episodes. You should go watch them. ASAP.
I will watch. So when I tried making vegetarian burgers, it was a disaster. Like, I got the texture right, but it was like a Cajun flavor. I can't remember where I got the recipe from. I think it was like Alt Recipes. But anyway, it was like I put too much beans in it, and I didn't like balance it off enough. So like eating it in a burger tasted like I was eating like a burger burrito, and it was really gross. But like, yeah, I've in terms of like vegetarianism, I'm not a vegetarian, but over the last like 2 to 3 years, here's the silver lining. I've cut out like 70% of meat. So instead of like getting
harm reduction.
chicken. Yeah, exactly. Instead of getting chicken nuggets, now we get vegetarian chicken nuggets that are really good. And part of it is, you know, the industry, or not the industry, but the market is changing, so there's more options. Like, you know, my husband would get like these little sausages for breakfast, and now he gets the vegetarian option. And so, like, I've never really been a huge meat eater, but I don't eat a lot of meat in general now. I'm not vegetarian, or I'm not a vegan by any stretch, but like vegetarianism is something that I could migrate to when there's more options, but I'm just kind of like dabbling in it a little bit. But the main thing for me is cooking, because I'm the type of person where I eat the same shit. Like, I feel like I have a pretty balanced diet, but the problem is I eat like the same, like I cycle through like 5 different meals that I have, and trying to like increase that is really what would change it up. So yeah, the cooking, I'm gonna have to check out your cooking show, because I think it's actually really helpful.
I'm working on a 3rd season, and I've been, you know, I took a little break for a couple weeks, and I've been working on it. Got a couple of bangers that are going to come out. So I'm hoping for next Wednesday that I'm going to start that up. But I got 20 episodes, and like one of my, like, I try to balance all like the talking points. Oh, I don't have time to cook. Well, you have time to watch a video for 15 minutes, and you have time to fucking cook, motherfucker. Right? Like, oh, I'm too poor, motherfucker. I've been destitute for most of my life. You can afford a can of beans, I guarantee it. And if you can't, well, then you shouldn't be watching my video. You shouldn't be on Twitter talking to me right now, because I can't wrap that, but like, I think ultimately with food is it's a drug addiction, is ultimately, like, I view anything you put in your body is a drug. Like, I'm drinking some diet soda right now, right? But everything is a drug, unless it's water. Like, water is the only thing I'll say confidently, probably not a drug. But any food you're going to be eating, it creates the same, like, dopamine addiction pathways in your brain that, like, drinking alcohol would, right? It's just like, like, people, like, they have that craving for Wendy's, just like people have a craving for a scotch, And it's like, it's just, you got to work on it. Like people, like, a lot of people, like, I consider myself an alcoholic, and I drink alcohol way too much, and people tell me to stop, right? But, like, if I, like, sometimes I'll go on stream and I'm drunk, whatever. It's 10 a.m. I don't give a shit. But, and then people are like, oh, you gotta stop drinking. And it's like, it's, for your health. But if you tell someone to stop eating fucking McDonald's, they'll be like, oh, how dare you criticize my life choices? You know what I mean? Like, this weird double standard.
So
I hate that shit. I hate illogic. I like the lack of logic. Like, if you can criticize me for smoking weed or drinking vodka, I can criticize you for eating fucking turkey on Thanksgiving, you fucking freak. Like, I don't know. Like, you ever thought of doing something else outside the box? People have been doing that shit for hundreds of years. You think you're special? Oh, I'm going to eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. And turkey's not even good, so it's not worth it.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, for me, it's always if you, like, replace a habit, then that's the easiest way to, like, get away from it. Like, for me, it was always like, okay, I love burgers. Not really, like, because I've never been a big red meat eater, but, like, I like chicken burgers. And so I found, like, a good alternative that's vegetarian. It's a chicken patty one. And it's better. Like, it's better than the actual meat version. And so,
I would argue that when well prepared, any vegetarian meal is better than the best prepared meat-based meal. That's my argument.
Yeah.
But the key thing is preparedness. But yeah, go on.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say, like, all these little things, like, I also found, like, there's one of my addictions, which is probably really bad, was, like, those little pizza roll things. But I found, I don't know if it's a vegan or a vegetarian option, but either way, there's, like, an alternative, and it's so much healthier, so much less calories, and it's meatless, and it's better, actually. So, like, trying to find, I think, ways to, like, replace those bad habits is how you go about it. And I think that that's really creative, like with the cooking show, where it's like, okay, if I can't cook, well, you're kind of offering, like, well, here's how you do it. Because, like, I've never really been, like, a huge, like I can cook, right? But, like, I'm not super talented. I just do the basic shit. So, like,
if you watch my videos, you will find I am also not very talented. I try, like, my vibe, I recorded an episode, like, yesterday, where it's the first time I've ever made something. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It turned out pretty well. But, like, I love to broadcast the vibe of I don't know what I'm doing, because chances are you don't know what you're doing. And it's like,
right. People,
like, will watch, like, these professionals, and then they'll feel like, oh, I could never do that. It's the same thing with, like, workout videos. Oh, I could never do that. True. And so they don't even try, It's like...
Yeah, that's more entertaining. If somebody's just being, like, humble, and they're like, we're trying something, I feel like that's way better than seeing these professionals, because, yeah, it's very intimidating. Like, there's a couple of YouTube cook people, recipe people that I subscribe to, and it's like, Jesus Christ, the things that they, like, even the way that they mix shit, it's like, goddamn, like, there's so much, like, art to that. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know that I could be that, like, good. So, but yeah, the humility with it, I think that helps. But yeah, you brought up exercise. That's something that I'm failing in that department there.
Oh, back to, like, the imperialism in the brain analogy, right? Like, we, like, as a society, like, we outsource almost everything to other people, and that's just the nature of living in this society. Like, there's so much that we can do. Like, I think cooking, like people that eat processed food, like freezer food or something, and, like, just fast food, and they don't cook for themselves, like you just, like, you're outsourcing so much to other people, And it's just like that idea of like, oh, I can get raw ingredients and cook something that like I saw at a restaurant, and I can cook that myself with the raw whole food ingredients. Like that self-sufficiency angle to it is super big for like mental health. And the same thing with exercise, right? Like it's bizarre, like, but we live in a world where it's like we're in that product, especially like if you're doing a YouTube thing, right? You know, we're YouTubers, our fellow YouTubers, right? We're in that productivity. Like I could make one more video, I could make my show 20 minutes longer, and I could probably get more money out of it. And then like it fuels these like habits that like, oh well, frick exercise, I'm not going to sleep. You know, and sleep is another thing that people don't get enough of. But I think we need to like return to the roots of like what it is to be human. You know, I do a lot of magic mushrooms, so this is what I think about. And like, you know, really what exists? Water, air, food, you know, like enough exercise. You need the mental stimulation to stave off dementia, right? Everything else is fake. Yeah. Like, you know, I hate cars. Cars are fake. Like I can't hike somewhere because of cars. Like they're just in the way. I don't have a car, right? So it's like they're in the way. Like you like just like I don't know, everything in society is fake to some degree. And I my like recent goals since the pandemic started, I've just been trying to figure out as much of what I can do by myself, and then I want to share that with other people. That's because good. Like we're just all stuck in like, I feel like most people are just, they're stuck in loops based on like social media, especially. Like I'll open up Twitter and then like there goes an hour because I'm yelling at someone over stupid fucking shit. Yeah, it's like it's verified. It's like we're arguing with religious people. Like this is verifiably true or false, and we're arguing over whether or not it's true or false. The answer is right here, but they just refuse to click a link, and it's like, and like my brain, like I get stuck. Like when someone says something fucking stupid, I can't stop thinking about it. Like and and so like I open my phone, and now all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. You know. And I feel like most people are operating in that kind of way. Like they're just on their own loops, you know, and it's like they're just going where whatever current's taking them. And you know, I think that religion is the main
almost
thing.
I think,
yeah,
right?
That's why I use
like
the zombie
how
term.
many people wake up and they just like start browsing Twitter? It's so unhealthy, and I do that too. But I've been more conscious as it like ate away at my brain, and like have tried to like change the habits, because like I've been there where it's like you'll argue with someone, or you'll see somebody say something and it'll like disturb you and you can't get it off your mind. It's like, okay, this is really unhealthy because this does not impact me that they said something stupid. I shouldn't be thinking about it and dwelling on it this long. And so, you know, I've tried to like have better habits with regard to that, because in this day and age, there's just like, there's so many opportunities that will cause, or not opportunities, but so many, I don't know what the right word is, but so many things that will cause brain rot. And so I feel like if you can like navigate away from that and come up with better routines that would just like boost you mentally, I think that's important. Like there was something that I read that I don't know if this is true, but I've been doing it. And I heard that if you get up every morning and you fix your bed every single morning and you don't waver, there's like some psychological benefit to that. Like you feel like the day has started, and it can help you like with depression and whatnot. And I don't know if it's helping like with depression, but it's helped to feel like, okay, I just woke up, I accomplished something. It's stupid. It has no impact on my life or the real world, but I did something. And there's like some subconscious level of like, oh, I'm crushing it today. I don't know what it is.
Like for me, I am ideologically opposed to fixing my bed. I don't want anyone to ever come into my bedroom and look at my bed being made and they go like, you make your bed? Like that, to me, that's antithetical to my vibe. Like imagine like, you know, you're having a great time, you bring someone home, and then like, you know, or like vice versa, and you see that their bed's made. Like, oof, instant turn off. Can I leave? But yeah, I try to read in the morning. Like my thing is I'll get up, get some coffee in me, and I'll just like read. Usually I try to at least do like one chapter of whatever book I'm reading, and sometimes I'll go for 2 or 3, and that, you know, I'll read throughout the day too. But like just like starting off like, and it gets the brain fired up. And like, you know, like I can't do e-readers. I can't read on my phone because like reading on my phone is like, there's always the pending notification. Uh-oh, did a dumb fuck say something stupid again? Oh no.
That's true.
Right? So like I need to read in the paperback format. Like for me, it's just, it's easier. It's more detached. And so, yeah, like it's just building the habits that are, like that's the thing. And like, cause we're ultimately like, we are like, the environment dictates our behavior, right? Like like everything is environmental, like, you know, the nature versus nurture conversation. It's like 99% nurture, right? Like the environment, like if I surround myself with like books and like, you know, and I'm writing all day, right, then, you know, I'm going to be more in that kind of thought process. If I surround myself with video games and I'm playing games all day, I might be more in that like kind of thing. And I like to be creative, right? So it's like, you know, if you know, I've been working on some video game stuff, you know, mods and stuff for games. I've been out of that. I used to do that as a teenager. Amazing. And I've been trying to get back into it. And it's, you know, part of that is like playing video games and then like playing them with a different mindset. You look at them on like the how they made this kind of mindset, right? And then like, you know, you it just gets into your psyche. And like the same thing with like food. It's like, you know, if you're going to cook every day, you're going to think about what you're eating more because you're spending more time around food, right? If you're like, you know, and it's like, it's all about the environment. So like, I think, you know, again, with the social media, people wake up and they're like this, you know, they're on a bender. Yeah. Like it's a drug addiction and they're on a bender. Like what is the difference between drinking a shot of vodka in the morning and reading a fucking hour of Twitter? You are on a bender. You're on drugs, motherfucker. But it's like people don't think of that as a drug, even though like, to be honest with you, I will say like mental health effects, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like reading Twitter for an hour versus getting drunk in the morning. I'll tell you which one has better mental health effects and it's not the Twitter. Like,
yeah, well, just like you said about like changing your habits is important. Like instead of browsing Twitter, read instead. And I see I'm the opposite. I do like reading before I go to bed because it kind of like helps clear my mind. Like usually I'll sit up and I'll just think about everything and my mind like won't stop. But if I read, then it gets me in a certain mindset and then I'm able to like fall asleep easily. But yeah, I needed to ask you, what are you reading? Because I'm in between books right now. I just finished Dark Matter, which is amazing, but I'm like the last person to read it because I feel like it's a pretty big book. And then I read The People's History of Howard Zinn, or of America by Howard Zinn, and I just finished
History
that.
of Howard Zinn. It's everyone gets together and says what they say about Howard Zinn.
He was
shook
a great
his hand
man
one of these days, and it was a little.
I need a new like sci-fi book though. If you have any recommendations,
I've been slowly getting back into reading because last year I did like a bunch of protesting stuff and I like that fucked all my habits up because I was like wake up every day and do like political protesting until I go to sleep, right? And that was a prolonged period. That was like 6 months of like it destroyed my habits. So I like recently started getting back into reading. I read Elie Mystal's book recently on the Constitution. I'd highly recommend that. I read Bob Odenkirk's book. I like Bob Odenkirk. So if you like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad or whatever, read his book. Right now, I am reading Bloody Crossroads 2020 by one Danny Goldberg. It's all right. You know, it's good. You know, I try to read things like I like. Just politics is not good. I try to do science as well. I picked up a book recently called Being You about consciousness and whether or not, like, you know, it's even a thing or whatever, how to measure it. That's pretty cool.
That'd be mind-bending. I like that.
Yeah, like I also do a lot of mushrooms. So, you know, I love to read like scientific stuff, consciousness stuff. I love to read people's opinions. And I also love mushrooms. So I'd recommend that to everybody as well, except not really, because that's illegal. And
but
you
can't
did you know
officially endorse it?
Yeah, but I can unofficially say that there are a list of cities that have decriminalized mushrooms, and you can look them up, and you can go there, and you can do whatever you want in those cities. I mean, they're great places to go. But
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, there you go. Right, so I recommend that to everybody. But it also, yeah, like reading is just super good because it's like. Like I want to try reading more books that are like old, like, you know, like 50-year minimum. I got 2001: A Space Odyssey. That I want to read because I watched the movie while on shrooms, and that was so enjoyable that I want to read the book and then I want to watch the movie again. And that can be fun. But yeah, like I've been trying to get back into reading, so I'm still working on it, still trying to build the habit back up. So. But yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I finally was able to start reading like a year or two ago because I mean I feel like I kind of lost. I always loved reading, but like being a college student forever, it's like okay, I'm like
get those
triggered
bad
when I pick
associations.
up a book.
Yeah, like it traumatizes
and so now
you.
it's
it does
enjoyable.
the opposite of
Oh, totally. So yeah, it's to a point where now I love it again and I enjoy it, and it's like almost like a mental health thing. So that way, rather than like thinking about Roe v. Wade and when is fascism coming to America and all these bad things in my life, it's like, oh, okay, this is a different world that doesn't exist. So and I'll switch between like nonfiction, like some political book, like I read like Richard Wolff and shit like that, and then I'll go to a fiction just to kind of like switch it up, because the political books are good, like it's educational, but like what I'm trying to achieve is like peace mentally before I go to bed, and those like they stimulate my brain. And so like I was reading Howard Zinn, and I just got through like the Clinton years, and just like he went through every single thing that Clinton did and how the Democrats assisted Republicans at every step of the way. So I'm like, this is so fucked, and nothing
you gotta have
you're going to bed pissed.
You gotta have like the morning book and the evening book. Like in the before bed, if I read, I'm usually really high before I go to bed because I'm doing a lot of weed lately. But that's a different
That helps
story.
you sleep.
It does, yeah. I'm awake until I pass out. But I've been just reading some mangas before bed because, I got all my little cartoon books. I'm reading Chainsaw Man right now. It's pretty good.
I read my first manga ever a couple of months ago.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, it was Attack on Titan.
Okay.
I had to fit... So, they just finished the last season, but then there's one more season. So, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fucking wait, like, a year and a half for them to release it. So I just picked up the ending and I got the spoilers through manga, and it was great.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, that works. Yeah, but like
there's a couple of books.
Yeah, like manga's super fun. I mean, I've been trying to get into comics as well, but like Western comics, but I'm a little bit of a weeb, closeted, don't tell anybody. I hope no one watches this video, but I've been reading manga for a long time. And it's just fun. It's enjoyable. You don't have to think too much. Every once in a while, you'll learn a new word, and you get to look at the people like go like and like chop each other up. It's cool as hell. Yeah, but
whatever you can escape, anything that you can use to like escape. I feel like lately I would beat myself up if I'm like playing too many video games. It's like, okay, I need to do something else. But now it's like, no, whatever I do that helps me cope, I'm not going to beat myself up about that. There's no like playing too much video games, because in that like mindset, I'm just in a zen space. I'm having fun, enjoying whatever I'm enjoying, and that's way more healthy than like the real world. And I feel like more people are going to adopt this mindset, because I mean, like, as things get worse, like, you have to find these escapes, and it's sad, but if it helps us cope, what are you going to do?
Yeah, like for me, like video games is something I also took a long break from. I used to be a video game streamer. I used to stream video games for like 16 hours a day. Like, I was one of those, like, tryhards, and I was, like, playing, like, it took me a long time. It took me, like, 3 years before I could, like, play a game for fun again. I've been trying to get into that again recently, but it's, I'm just more into, like, games, like, less to enjoy them and more to, like, be creative with them. Like, I like the speedrunning stuff. And I like, like making my own iterations of certain things. But like just sitting back and playing a game has just been so difficult for me. Me, that's just, it's been rough,
I feel like I've gone through those phases too. Part of it had to do with like being in school and feeling like, well, what's the point of like starting a game that I'm not going to be able to finish? Or maybe I can finish it in like 2 weeks and then I'm going to forget what the fuck was going on, if it's a story game, or how to even play. And it's just like, yeah, it's everything, sometimes you have to learn to love it again, I guess. And games are like that too, for sure. I'm currently in like I'm very pro game again, but it depends. Like, I'll go through my phases where it's like, nah, I'd rather just watch a TV show or something stupid, like some dumb cooking show on the Food Network where they're like playing goofy sound effects as they fall, like something stupid like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I have a question. Just, throwing this out there. I noticed you have like a little display stand in the back with like some literature. Like if I were to write a book, would you put me there?
Yeah, absolutely. I display everyone's book here for at least like a couple of months. So I had Michael Brooks's book. I had Milagro by Matt Strackbean. I can't remember his last name.
Also known as the most famous Hellboy fan in North America.
Oh, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's been on my show.
I put your book here.
All right, I got to write a book now. It's official. That's the motivation.
Although if you
go.
put like something horrible on the cover visually, then I just have to like have Bernie or Trump block it. Oh no. So just the title would be like shy.
Okay.
Something like that.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty inclined to putting gross, disgusting displays. Like, it'll be me ripping Jesus's head off with a chainsaw or something, you know?
That I would put, though.
Okay, all right. So we're back in. Yeah, I don't know. My background right now is not so spectacular, because I've been in a state of flux for a while, that I'm trying to think about what to do for a background, because, like, I love background stuff. I'm super into, like, the subliminal messaging of backgrounds. Like, I want to propagate. I want to use every like pixel of the screen for propaganda purposes in order to spread my message. So I'm trying to like think about like what I can do for a background. And yeah, like books is good, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can like, I want to hide like notes and messages and secret, you know, stuff in the background. You know, like that's my thing. And I noticed you got like the television screen, like, how much was that television screen? You just, like, bought, like, a $600 TV to put, like, a fucking piece of, like, a logo on there? Yeah.
This one was, let's see. I bought it a couple years ago. I think it was, like, $300. I got it from Walmart. But, yeah, not, I did a GoFundMe for the studio, so that's how I was able to get, like, the TVs and the stuff. And I raised, like, I think a few $1,000s, so I was able to, like, get all the good microphones and a really good like camera, and that's when I got the TVs and stuff. And I like the TV just because it's like versatile, so like I could change it to something like,
I know you can,
each...
I've seen you like use other things on there, but I mean like right now like a printer would have sufficed, you know, you got a little piece of paper you put up there.
I know. So for interviews, I don't know what to put up, because like if I'm talking about something, I'll have that just like on the background. But like for interviews and stuff, I've thought about like these really cool like screensavers almost on YouTube where it just plays in the background. But I'm like, is that like distracting? I don't know. So yeah, I put up the logo whenever I do an interview for a default, but it irritates me because it's not sufficient. But I don't know.
Yeah, what you should do is have like a 3-hour video that's just the logo, but like 86 minutes in, like something goes across the screen that's like a subliminal message or something, right? Like that's the kind of shit that I want to do. Like if I ever had a TV on the background, oh yeah, I would. That would be like, I would spend like hours to come up with something that people would never even notice, and if they did, it would be like half a second. You know, like That's
actually a great idea.
It is, and in
just
fact,
have like a word
I'll give it
pop
to you for free. Like you can use that idea, and you don't have to pay me. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I might take that actually.
Yeah.
I have to figure out what though.
That's the thing, is that it's got to be something good, right? Because if someone notices something and then it's just like a poop emoji, right? Like, you know, they're going to feel like they wasted their time. You got to send them on a goose chase, you know?
See, that's kind of like more of my sense of humor, where it's like something stupid or like some goofy like Trump thing. Like this is part of it. Like I have like my serious stuff, but then I have like the Funko Pops, and I have the Trump. This is actually a dog toy. And my dog chewed off his arm and shit it out.
That's great.
So I'm like, okay, you can't have the toy because it's dangerous, obviously, if you're breaking it. But, you know, it'll go in the studio.
You should put, like, the shit pile, like, a photo of the shit pile with the hand visible, like, next to it. That would be great.
It was a little bit shocked because I didn't see when he, like, broke off the arm. So I'm, like, picking up dog shit. And I'm like, oh, there's a Trump hand there. That's disturbing to see.
Yep, I remember my dog had a purple, like a neon purple turd, and that caused me an alarm. I thought he was drinking chemicals or something. I have no idea. And then I noticed that like one of the other dogs in the house had a purple toy that was missing. It wasn't there anymore because my dog ate that fucking thing. And he's a little bit of a dumbass, but you know, it happens.
Mine too. We had to. He went over to his grandparents' house, his dog grandparents' house. We went over for dinner, and he swallowed an entire squeaker, and they had to cut it out of him because he couldn't like barf it up. So yeah, he like tries to like hurt himself and kill himself. So without me, I feel like he'd be a goner. But
yeah, maybe he believes
boy.
in God and he just wants to get to the next life already. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't raise him that way, so you know.
Well, you know. It gets in you. I don't know. Yeah, my dog ate a cough drop a couple weeks ago.
Is that bad? I feel like it would be.
It is bad, but like my dog is a big dog, right? So like he was fine. Like, but like I remember I was freaking the fuck out. I had like a panic attack. I stayed up all night so that if he was like sick, I would take him to the hospital. And like he was fine. Like there was no issue. But like those motherfuckers, they will cause me a panic attack. Like if this dog dies, like I will like it's a part of me that would die. Like I have outsourced my mental health to this dog, right? So and this guy's gonna eat a fucking cough drop. You fucking piece of shit. Holy fuck. What an asshole.
I know it's scary how much like I love my dog, because it's like if somebody was like, choose, you or the dog, one of you is going to take this bullet, I'd be like, okay, spare the dog. I like jump in front of a bullet to save him. Like,
I mean, I could probably survive getting shot, like depending on like where I can go afterward and where I get shot. Like a dog gets shot, they're probably going to get fucked, right? But
yeah,
I can get shot in the thigh. I got large thighs. I could take a couple bullets in there. I'll, whatever, and I don't have to walk again. That solves the exercise problem. I don't. Sorry, can't do it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. God, without dogs, I feel like this world would be a much darker place. Like they're just sweet. Your dog. What was your dog's name? Max, right?
Max the dog. His name is Max the dog.
Such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
My dog's name is Poopy.
Poopy.
That's his nickname. But his real name is Vladimir. Didn't think that one through. Named him that in 2013.
Of course.
Before there was accusations that I could be a Russia shill. But I wrote a paper on sexism in... Yeah, they are true. I wrote a paper on sexism in Russia. And so like Russia was kind of at the top of my mind. And so I'm like, hey, he's a pug. So Vladimir Pugin, LOL, that's hilarious. And so, yeah, didn't think that one through, because now it's like, oh, Russia shill.
Now we just call him shithead.
Yeah. But I feel like if I'm self-aware enough, then people will be like, oh, okay, he wouldn't joke about that if there really was a connection. But it's like, investigate me, motherfucker. I hate Russia.
If there is a connection, there's a lot of great conspiracy theories about me that I love. And, like, you know what? Like, I have fun with them. I mean, like, sometimes it's annoying, but, like, honestly, like, just the idea that someone's willing to write up an entire fan fiction of my life, and I just find that fascinating, right? So, like, yeah, I work with the Russians. We're on a first-name basis. Vlad, he's a good guy. Are
you CIA also? Because I got that one.
I'm in the CIA. I'm in NATO. And
I haven't gotten NATO.
Yeah, I'm in NATO because I went on Nomiki's show one time, and that makes me a part of NATO now. And
I didn't know that Nomiki was NATO.
Yeah, she is NATO. Like not she is a part of NATO or she works for NATO. She is NATO. Like if NATO is the physical embodiment of Nomiki, she is NATO, and it's pretty incredible. But
so by extension, through you, I'm NATO now.
Yeah, well, because... it's like a piece of the Jesus or something. Like they eat the cracker or whatever. Like you're now going to have the soul of NATO inside of you, and that's pretty insane, to be honest.
I know you've probably been called DNC shill. I've gotten that one a lot.
Oh, I'm a shit lib. I don't know if you watch any of my Jimmy Dore videos, but I've made a bunch of them where
I watch all of your Jimmy Dore videos.
Yeah, but I love doing like the first 5 minutes where it's like, oh, I just got off the phone with the health insurance executives. They gave me a promotion. Like I love doing that. And then because I'll do that and then I'll forget about it, and then like I'll get a comment like 6 months later. And it's like, LMAO, you just admitted to working for health insurance.
I know.
And it's like, my brother in Christ, like, you worship a comedian, and yet jokes are not, like, it's fun. I just fuck with these people. Like, they're just stupid. Like, they're entertainment for me, right? Like, in order to not get upset by them, I view them as entertainment, right? Like, that's the thing about doing a show. It's like, when someone says something so stupid about me, I get to make a video about it. Like, you're telling me I get to make money off of your fan fiction? Like, that's incredible.
Gosh, that's the best when you meme about it and they're like, oh, you admitted it. I don't know if this happened to me or someone in our space. Maybe it was David Dole, where we were joking about like being CIA and it was screenshotted. It's like, come the
these
fuck
people,
on.
It's the bender, right? They're like, you know, if someone's been drinking booze every day for like 7 years, right, they're going to be a little wonky. When someone's scrolling through like the Force the Vote Twitter feeds like for like 3 years straight, yeah, like they're on a bender. They're not in the right state of mind. They need an intervention. And, you know, someone's got to call up NATO because we need some interventions going on. Am I right? Whoa.
Absolutely.
Yeah. These people are fucking... They're great though. You know?
Yeah, they are. I love your videos on Jimmy Dore and whenever you go after these folks because it's hilarious. Like it's ruthless, so warranted, but yeah, it's cathartic for me too to watch that. So
yeah, like that's like for me, right? Like I started to get a lot more attention when I started doing like the Force the Vote, like making fun of the people that do Force the Vote. I don't know if that's how you found me or whatever, but like a bunch of people...
I don't remember.
Like I still get people that are like, oh, I found you through this Force the Vote video and everything you said in that video was correct. And I'm like, oh, what did I say? Because I don't remember. I forget what I said. In fact, I forget what I said in this video. I have no idea what's going on. Right? So then like someone will link a timestamp of like, you know, like Jimmy Dore is going to use this as a springboard to run for president in 2024 into the People's Party. And then that's actually happening now. And it's like, you know... I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's fun. I don't care. I have a no fucks given attitude for stupid people.
Which is great.
I just don't care. Like, I don't care if they're offended. I don't care if they whine. I don't care if they complain. You can do whatever you want. That's fine. Like, you know, when people share my videos and, you know, talk about me on Twitter in a negative way, I mean, that's fine. It just raises my profile. Like, That's true. Like, I don't care if someone, like, thinks I'm like a fucking neo-Nazi CIA operative. Like, to me, that's just entertainment. Like, that's just fun as fuck. You know, I don't give a shit.
Oh yeah. Like at a certain time, you get thick enough skin to where nothing bother. I mean, there are things that bother me, but like it takes a lot to really bother me.
Like someone saying like something like stupid about like vegetarianism will bother me way more than whatever fan fiction you've got cocked up in your head. Like if someone tells me like vegans have iron deficiencies, like that will send me more.
That's not true at all.
No, it's not even remotely true. In fact, vegans typically have better rates of iron. But this is like a big thing on Twitter the other day was there's like veganism was trending. And some stupid fucking whore was talking about how, like, oh, I've got an iron deficiency. I can't go vegan because I'll die or something. And then I was like, what the fuck? Right? And then, like, I started tweeting about it and I mentioned it. And then people were like, that's true. My blah, 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 whatever. Someone I know somewhere stopped eating meat for 3 days. And what did they replace that with? Who knows? That's never part of the story. And then they, like, collapsed. Or something. Like, I don't, like... Motherfucker, first of all, like, before you change your diet, you should be trying something. You should be, like, educating yourself. Second of all, like... Like, just, that's so stupid. Like, and, like, to me, I just loop on the stupid shit, right? Like, I can't, like, someone says Mega Man X6 is a bad game, I'm done. Like, the rest of my day is done. I will never get over it. Like, I can't. Like, I can't with these dumb motherfuckers. They, you know, so.
Yeah, I have the same tendency. It's so unhealthy, where you fixate on things that, like, are not worth your, like, mental time. But you do.
It's the sunken cost fallacy. It's like a puzzle. It's like Yugi putting together the Millennium Puzzle, right? Like, you just got to figure out like, it's a domino effect. Like, this person's entire life led to this moment where they're saying stupid shit in my mentions, right? Like, what happened to them? I want to learn about this person, right? Like, this is a historical figure for me. I remember one time...
Like, psychoanalyze them.
Yeah, I was doing mushrooms one time, and I usually put my phone on airplane mode to avoid what happens here. But I got like a long YouTube comment from like some Force the Vote guy. And I was like at the peak. I was losing my mind. So I checked my phone because I have a timer on there to see the timer, like, you know, how long I'm into the trip. And then like I see this notification, right? And then I start reading it, right? You know, because I'm on, you know, I'm trying to figure this out. And then I realized to myself, like, first of all, I shouldn't be doing this. This is a bad idea. So I want to put the phone away. But now it's already in my brain. It's a cognito hazard, right? It's already infected my psyche. Like, I'm going to continue to loop on it until I read the full message. So I get the phone back out, and I just can't figure it out. And, yeah, man, that's some crazy shit. Like, It's crazy. But I try to
Yeah,
put my
see, I've
phone on
never done
airplane mode.
shrooms. I would have my husband hide my phone before I did.
Oh yeah.
If I ever did.
Yeah.
Because that would like send me into a bad trip. Because I'm the same way where I obsess over something and like it doesn't get off of my mind until like I check it. So it's like, okay, even if it's stupid and unnecessary, to get that psychological relief in and of itself makes
The little
it like worth
check
it to me.
mark, like the red. I've read this in
Exactly.
my mind. You know what?
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You know. I get like that. I
Exactly.
feel like a compulsion to respond to every comment because I'm at that level of YouTube like fame where it's like I get so many comments, but it's not too many. You know, like there's sometimes there's too many. I'll make a video that gets like a couple thousand views, and then I'm like, all right, I'll just check out for a couple days. But I'm at this, like I try to respond to everything, even the stupid motherfuckers. Because like I've also noticed this game, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. That like especially with MAGA people is like they love being dumb. Like forced to vote people like also, but the MAGA people, this is the like. The MAGA people are more likely to be watching your videos on like a tablet, right? So that they have ads running. They're less likely to know about ad blockers. So you just call a MAGA person stupid. They will respond to that comment. You just like put a laughing emoji. They will continue to respond. Every time they respond, they load the video and watch. So I don't know if I should say that, but that's a little strategy for
That's
you.
really smart.
If you ever, want to, just respond to all of these people with like an LMAO, and they will print the money for you. It's pretty great.
That's a really good way to drive up engagement if you're like, in the algorithm detention center for a couple of weeks and you're not getting any boosted videos, like have them respond and it drives up engagement and yeah.
Yeah, I had this video that had like 800 comments on it, and like half of them were just me like responding with raffle and to like people writing books that I still haven't read. Like they wrote this book and then I just respond with, yeah, okay. And then they write another book, and I don't even read them. Like, if it's more than a sentence long, it's not worth it, right?
No.
And so, but like, it's just 800 comments, and then that video still gets views. It's great. I like YouTube is a game, and we can try to learn the rules to the game as much as we can, but like, ultimately it is a game, and you can. It's not fair if you know the rules and the other people don't. But if you know the rules, you can make a lot of money. But there's so much you can do without like grifting, like I could go up there and I could detransition, and I could be like the tranny who made it, and I could write a book about it and my surviving experience and probably get a lot of money, but like that's too much, right? So there's like a level of grifting, right?
Queer people could, if we wanted to, like we could grift so easily. We just be reactionaries and attack our own community. I mean, you get banks, so it's like people they'll tell me, oh, you're like you're just trying to do clickbait for the DNC and Democratic Party. You're a sell. It's like motherfucker. If I wanted to sell out, I would not shift to like the Democratic Party. I would become a Republican operative because look at Dave Rubin got a fucking mansion. You think if I'm gonna sell out and say like something inauthentic, I would go in the direction that makes me less money? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, but like keep in mind these people are fucking stupid, right?
That's true. Yeah. They don't think that far ahead. They just, it's more of like a visceral response
it's a reactionary.
To you where it's like
they don't even
like
think. They don't like it's just like by the time that they've pressed enter and send the message, right? Like that's like they're still not conscious. They're just zombies, right? They're just like it's like, if you fucking like pour water on like a fucking anthill, right? The ants are gonna run away from the water. It's just it's a response mechanism, right? They're not even there. They're just going like, right? Like they're just fucking crazy motherfuckers, and that's why I just love making fun of them, right? Because it's endless.
That's great. Well, I should probably jump off here.
Yeah,
so
we've exceeded the hour mark. This is where you say, I'm getting kind of bored.
I can't.
I've had
it's
fun,
so much
but
fun.
I'm bored, so I gave you enough time.
I could never be that. That's too rude and untrue. It's fun talking to you.
Yeah, if I ever go on your show, I'm gonna pull the I'm getting kind of bored card.
No.
And then your audience,
warning, then it won't hurt my feelings.
Your audience is not gonna know that I'm joking, and then they're gonna like harass the shit out of me. I don't know.
No, my audience is way too chill. excluding the MAGA regulars that I have.
Oh, of
but like,
course,
my
yeah.
core audience is very, very chill.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. I will be sure to put ads on this video and make money off of your name.
Put lots and lots of ads.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit the maximum, I think. I might post this
Absolutely.
tonight. It depends on how long it takes to upload and do the fucking processing.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, for me, guests, like, I like to line it up with my live show, but I also don't care. It's like, who cares? And I'm not that special to where it's like, actually, could you do this 6 hours earlier for my sake? Like, fuck it, whatever. But anyway, I could post this tonight or tomorrow. I will tag you.
Okay, I'll share that and whatnot.
Oh, you better.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal.
For sure.
That's one of the things about getting
I'll put
a
it on
guest
Facebook too.
Okay,
on
great.
Facebook, we are on the corporate algorithm for sure. TYT, where like I'm still part of their network, so if TYT shares one of like my videos, it just like blows up. So I'll put it, I don't know if they share like video shares, but
I gotta
I'll share.
I'll break this into clips too. We'll monetize it on both ends.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
That's right.
For sure.
You ever see Magic Mike?
No.
Okay, well, I guess I can't make this joke then. Anyway, y'all have a good one. And
you too.
Yeah, that's it.
Have a good day.
I don't like you too, so it's Bono. Not a huge fan. Anyway, that's it. That's all.
All right. Well, you take.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
Dumb as a shit fuck, cringe tour, etc., etc.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.